one of my biggest strengths is I can talk a lot. One of my biggest weaknesses is that I talk a lot. So I was saying to David yesterday, I'm a bit scared. I'm really excited, and I've got things that I know can transform people's lives, and I've only got 10 minutes to tell you about it. But I will do my best to encapsulate some of the essence of what came about. The three things I do is I help people make decisions. So if you hear someone stuck, not sure what to do, then they can come to me for a one-off session to make a decision. Because sometimes once they've made the decision, you've ever been stuck with a decision where you kind of know you don't know what you want, but you know what you've got now isn't it? I'm not on my own, am I? Just a few minutes. Or you've got two things that you really want, but at the moment you just can't see how you can have both. So you're kind of feeling like you have to go either or, and you really don't want to. So like money and time off? No? Is that just me? Okay. So when you get into that, we call that in a technical term in the coaching is a bind, where you've got two things you want, but you don't know how you can have both of them. And my job at Clarity Point is helping people work out how they can have both without compromise. So the first thing they come to me for is clarity. The next thing they come to me for is once they've got clarity of what they want, then they have to go and do it. And usually what happens between knowing what you want and actually doing it is confidence. And I work with people to have confidence in their own unique way of doing it so that they feel okay about presenting themselves. And so I don't give people structure and say you have to do your 60 seconds like this or you have to do your presentation. So get up there and just be yourself. I forgot to take my own advice, which is why I found BNI a little bit difficult 3 years ago. So I kept trying to fit in the BNI box, then realised I can't. I'm not that shape. So it's like I have to work out how to be yourself within the frameworks that everybody else is giving you. So I work with a lot of network marketing people because they often have lots of frameworks that don't work for them, but I help them work within those frameworks more effectively. The last bit is about change. So you know what you want, you're confident to deliver it, and you start it, you don't finish it. Has anyone ever started a task they've not finished? Good, it's not just me. So what I found is that people need to change the way they filter feedback. They'll start doing it, and there'll either be one or two people. They'll either not listen to any feedback, it's like, I'm going to do it, they're really focused, and they keep doing it, they're ignoring all the feedback, and they get to the end, and they don't get the result they expected, because they weren't listening to the feedback. They weren't growing and evolving and adapting their decision as they went along, so they didn't listen and didn't change. And there's the other people that every time they hear a bit of feedback, they change. Guess who I am? And I've learned now to stay on a track and listen to selective feedback, the feedback that will keep me on track with what I want, not what everybody else thinks I should be doing. And that, in essence, is what I do for a living, is help people get clarity of what they want, the confidence to do it, and change the way they receive and respond to feedback. So what I've come up with, how am I doing for time?
Got 7 minutes left.
7 minutes left. So I call this the STAR system. So you've ever heard of the planning system called Plan, Do and Review? So it works on adapting this process. So most people know, they'll know what to do, they plan it. But what they often haven't done is got clarity of what they want. Sometimes their plans are based on what they think they should be doing, ought to do, could be doing, based on what people traditionally have done, and then they wonder why they don't actually get around to doing it, and it's because it's not what they really want, it's what they think they have to do. So I'm really good at making people go, is that what you really want? Really, really? You know, checking in that what you're working towards is your ultimate goal. I have people that have, their businesses look like they're failing because they're trying to achieve something they don't really want, like 7 days a week working. You know, if they carry on taking that contract, that's what's going to happen, and so their subconscious will stop them. So my job is to make sure before you start planning, you've got clarity of what you want and you're doing what's right for you, not what you think you need to do to please other people. Then this bit is the change. Some of you have heard, oh sorry, it's not, it's confidence, I'm lying. You've heard my program called Do, Delegate or Ditch? And that's helping people, once you've got a plan, work out why you're not doing it, ditch stuff, maybe something's changed already and you need to let go of that original decision and you need to update it, or maybe you need to delegate it, you need to ask for help. And that's probably one of the biggest things, people see asking for help a weakness, or they try to ask for help and people don't do it the way they want it done. And so I help them with all that communication package. Once you start doing it, what normally happens is people jump straight into criticising it. They start reviewing it, what didn't work, how do I need to improve it, and what I do is change their focus so they change their results. So we start looking at what's working for you, what's working for the other person, and make sure they've got a communication package set up so that they can have two-way dialogue, and difficult conversations are a thing of the past. Your staff will tell you, your clients will tell you, and there'll be none of this worrying about taking it personally or upsetting or hurting people. It will just be a matter of fact that it's not working for me, what can we do about it. It's not that you're doing anything wrong, it's just the way you do it is having an impact on me. So time, I'm just checking I was meant to bring my clock up with me. So in front of you, you should all have a stationery pack and a piece of paper. If you can grab those, please. You might want to grab the felt tips that are in the pots. The reason for the prompts being around you is I run what I call a power of planning taster session, which you can come to any month. We do half day or whole day. One of the reasons some people can't get clarity and they can't do the planning is because they're trying to plan in very logical, systematic ways, but they're more creative things. If you want to open your packs up, this is my gift to you. To be more creative with your planning and your thinking. And those of you that are looking at Notepad, you might be going, do you know what? That's too small for me. I just want you to know there's some bigger pieces of A4 paper. There's some larger pieces when you come to our office. We also have A4 big sheets you can sit on the floor and do your drawing. Well, what can I say, Chad? What can I say? So I'm just going to take the clarity section first and just show you how that works in a bit more detail. That stands for what would you like to have happen. So I just want you to take a piece of paper or your notebook and I want you to answer that question for yourself. For you to have more fun in business right now, what would you like to have happen? And just answer that question for yourself in the notebook. Or on a piece of paper, whichever you've chosen. What would you like to have happen? With the overarching thing about having more fun in business. Got 3 minutes left. Okay. Now, depending on how you process time and how you hear that question from me, some of you will have put down what you want. Is that right? Mm-hmm. How many of you actually put what you want, and who's put down what they don't want, what they want less of? So you want less of. So just bear in mind when you communicate that with somebody or you've got to create a plan, it's very hard to create a plan for doing less of something. And a lot of people can do what they don't want and what they want to get rid of, and if you change it, so when you don't have that, the question I'd ask you is then what happens? And if you can keep framing it until you get what you want, when you communicate, people have got a darn sight easier way of helping you get it if they actually know what you want rather than what you don't want. Who's put something about what they wish they had had in the past? Nigel? Okay, yeah. So just again, when I've asked a future present tense question, but use something from the past. So when you're communicating with people, just be aware, we all have a different way of processing time. So when you get frustrated because someone doesn't listen to you and don't get it, 2 minutes left, that might be because of the way they process time. And what I do is, particularly through the Do I Get a Ditch programme, is help you understand how you do time. So you know how you're doing it, so at least you can break some of the barriers down and you can make your communication clearer to somebody else. But you'll also be a bit kinder and stop getting pissed off and wretched with people you think who are not respecting you because they don't turn up on time. They may be late because they are got a mother they're looking after, a husband in hospital. Maybe actually the reason they're not there is because they don't respect themselves and they do far too much for everybody else and they try and fit too much in their diary and it's not personal to you. The things we have about time, most people are completely unaware of how we process time, but we all start having rules that we judge other people by, even ourselves. You know, I'm useless because I'm late. I realise that if you turn up late, you just miss the first 5 minutes of the meeting. Nothing horrible happens. It's really, you know, we are human, and it's just the pressure off me to go, quick text, sorry, I'm running late, I'll be there. I don't make a habit of it, I don't like being late, but nothing horrible happens when it goes through. So the next part, how much have we got left?
1 minute.
1 minute. So we've got here, what would you like to have happen? So it gives you an overview. There's a lot more to this. It's 12 days training to help you understand what responses you're getting to that one question. Once you have absolute clarity of what you want, the next question is, how do you need to be to make that happen? So I'm going to write that answer down. How do you need to be? And then the last question is, what kind of resource or support do you need? 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Okay, 10 seconds. Okay. So I'm going to leave that. So hopefully it's giving you some insight of what I do, how I do it. I suppose the biggest thing that makes me different is people don't come to me for me to tell them that I'm a great business coach and I know everything about business. I come for me to tell them how great they are and what they know about their life and what they need, and that they're the best resource that they can have in their business. The best way to refer business to me is I have a free clarity and confidence call. I have access to my diary online. Send them the link. Say if you need to have a chat with her, just get them in front of me for coffee and chat and I'll do the rest, because I can listen and I can sell myself. So on that note, I'll send you all a link with your permission over the next day, either this afternoon or tomorrow. If you get anybody that you know is stuck with a decision, lacks confidence, or keeps on getting undermined by feedback, then please send them my clarity and confidence link and get them out of the rut. Thank you for your time today.